That's WORD.TV exclusive.
We're in a kind of strange new world.
Scientists say that's exactly what we're living in.
Welcome back. In this some latest news coming in. Last night, an unidentified object was spotted over Junagadh, Dwarka and Jamnagar districts of Gujarat. Now, the authorities are investigating what the matter is, what the object might have been, but those are the visuals that we are running on our screen right now. This incident pertains to last night when an unidentified object was spotted over Junagadh, Dwarka and Jamnagar districts of Gujarat.
Sizable earthquake jolt that hit us here in West Los Angeles. My guess is that you probably also felt that wherever you were at home. We're trying to get more information. It happened while we were just on the air there. One quick, strong jolt.
And we can always feel the building shake, but this was probably one of the strongest ones I've ever felt right here at Fox 11. We have these lights overhead too. You heard the whole building shake in West LA.
Yeah, certainly. That's certainly the strongest earthquake I felt on the job.
It was centered in El Segundo. We have no reports of any damage right now, but apparently quite a few of you have felt this.
It still feels a little bit like the building is shaking a little bit. I don't know if that's just me because I was a little shook up by that, but it was quite something and a reminder that Southern California is in the middle of earthquake country.
And we're in the heart of wildfire country.
It may be the first day of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, but for some 50 million people in the U.S., summer has arrived early and hotter than ever before. In just the last week, high temperature records have been shattered all across the western half of the United States.
This is like an anxiety-inducing double whammy. You have the heat wave, which is already a major concern with fire season, but then you have the drought.
Two weather emergencies now threatening much of the South and the West.
Some of the most extreme heat hitting regions already dealing with devastating droughts.
Severe lack of winter snow and rain and this week's punishing heat wave have transformed Lake Mendocino into a desert.
This western state heat dome is a dramatic reminder that Mother Nature bats last and she bats 1,000.
The water level in California's Lake Oroville is so low that the hydroelectric plant it powers will likely shut down for the first time ever.
That it is acting on and exaggerating all kinds of climatic conditions. And so it is making things worse. We're seeing more frequent fires, more severe fires. We're seeing them at a scale, not just in terms of area, largeness, but intensity plus area combining.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Tropical Storm Claudette is still pounding parts of the south, causing flooding and a tornado that touched down in southern Alabama.
It's the worst I've seen it since the 2 years I've been around here. But for the most part, we're just consistent rain on and on, on and on.
A volatile climate spawning a strange new world of dangerous weather, spreading pain from coast to coast.
A tornado in the Czech Republic has killed at least 3 people and injured around 150, this according to emergency services there. Winds of around 190 miles per hour blew roofs off buildings, uprooted trees and overturned cars.
The storm tore through several towns and villages. Neighboring Austria and Slovakia have sent crews to join the rescue effort. The storm knocked out power to thousands of households. Now, tornadoes are a rare occurrence in the region.
This tornado is being described as the worst ever in modern Czech history. But also, I should say, it wasn't just the tornado. There were also huge hailstones, some of them the size of tennis balls, and they also did a lot of damage.
Yeah, we've just been looking at some images of that destruction, Ian. We mentioned that tornadoes are a rare sight in these parts. Tell us more about that.
Well, they're extremely rare. The tornado we saw here yesterday in the Czech Republic was the kind of thing, the kind of twister people might more expect to see somewhere like Arizona in the United States. But tornadoes of this kind aren't only unusual in this region in Central Europe, they're unusual in the whole of Europe.
Scientists in Israel say they've discovered a previously unknown form of early human after studying fragments of a fossilized skull and jawbone. They were found at an archaeological site near Tel Aviv. It's thought they could explain genetic links between modern humans and Neanderthals.
Now, a remarkable scientific discovery has been made in China. Researchers say they found the skull of what they believe is a new species of human, which could be our closest evolutionary relative. If confirmed, Dragon Man, as he's been named, would replace the Neanderthals as our sister species.
Meet the Dragon Man, a perfectly preserved skull found in the Black Dragon River province in northeastern China. He's thought to be a new species of human. After examining this replica, made from resin, he believes that the Dragon Man is a hugely important discovery.
I've been studying human evolution, for the last 50 years or so, and this for me is one of the most significant fossils that I have seen and studied in all of that time.
A 3D scan shows a huge head, with a brain that was about the same size as ours, but other features, such as a prominent brow ridge, suggest something more primitive.
I said, oh my gosh, you can't believe that, So, and it is so well preserved. You can see all the details.
These earlier skulls, found in China, have baffled scientists until now.
Isn't it amazing how something so small can be so significant? A skull fragment is analysed by scientists in Tel Aviv, but this is no ordinary skull fragment. Along with part of the jawbone, it was unearthed at Nesha Ramla, an archaeological site once used by a cement plant. It's believed that Neanderthals, the cousins of modern humans, died out around 40,000 years ago, but these fragments are from a species much older than that, and suggest the Neanderthal story may be a lot different to what we previously imagined.
Now we can say that it's probably that they originate in the Levant, in our region, rather than in Europe, as many researchers thought until now.
Nesha Ramla may have lived alongside and even mated with Homo sapiens for more than 100,000 years. These aren't just fragments of bone, they are pieces of an evolutionary jigsaw.
Human beings have been wondering about unexplained lights in the night sky since the first Neanderthal cooked an ocelot over a campfire and looked up.
The long-awaited Pentagon report on UFOs was released today, and it echoes the reporting from 60 Minutes that there are a lot of unexplained sightings.
Officials say they have no explanation of the cases reported by military planes.
And one of our U.S. senators believes this is long overdue, with so many pilots seeing in the sky things they just can't quite identify.
The fact that this report was released and this work continues is a sign that the U.S. government is taking this seriously, though. Hallie, Peter?
Courtney Cuby live for us there at the Pentagon. And Courtney's right. The idea that this has now been sort of mainstreamed into the political sphere, that we're talking about this, and this is real. This isn't ET, right? Like, this is actual stuff that matters to a lot of people.
The pilot saw something.
Right, there's video.
Sure. We just still don't know what the heck it was.
And it's interesting. It's a mixed bag. It's a long way of saying, and it's about 9 pages, of saying we don't know what these things are.
Some of these aircraft, the report says, quote, appeared to remain stationary in winds aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, or move at considerable speed, all without discernible means of propulsion. So we do know that no government in the world possesses anything like this. No technology like this exists that we know of. The Pentagon seems fairly certain these are not Russian and they're not Chinese. So what are they? The report doesn't say. It notes only the obvious. UFOs, quote, clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security, end quote.
And I think it's interesting, this report says they've really only looked at a select number of incidents. I mean, there have been many, many more encounters going back decades. So I think there needs to be a deeper dive into some of the backstory here.
Okay, Nick, you've worked on these issues for a long time for the UK government. I mean, you go back on this. I've heard you say, look, everything that we're seeing here is the tip of the iceberg. This report doesn't give us much sense of the iceberg. Can you give us some sense of what we're not seeing here, but we ought to be thinking about?
Well, there's certainly a classified annex to this report, and that would be interesting, and it'll be fascinating to see over the next few days whether anything there leaks. A lot of that, I think, will be highly technical, but former DNI John Ratcliffe revealed earlier that there was satellite imagery, for example, of these things. So that's one thing that I think people would be fascinated to know. But it's the speeds, the maneuvers, the acceleration of these objects that's absolutely staggering, and in many cases, seems way beyond the cutting edge of anything we've got. UFO community folks probably disappointed that this doesn't talk about extraterrestrials and aliens, but it's not been taken off the table, and clearly Congress will want more work on this, and it is described as a preliminary report, so there's more to come.
Well, I think everybody is interested in the more to come. I think some were hoping for a more definitive answer here, but I guess we're not going to get that. That means the conversation continues.